Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Alright, get out the pens, lads. Start writing some thank you notes, because I'm going to look at every Premier League club and find something in their current team, whether it be a player, manager, or whatever, that they entirely owe to another club. Arsenal and Man United. Yeah, Arsenal fans might not like to admit it, but they need to bend down and kiss the feet of Manchester United. Listen, it's pretty simple. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is the only ray of sunshine in that gloomy Arsenal team. But would he be at all if Man United hadn't raided the club for Alexis Sanchez? No, this fellow was a £60 million panic buy from Borussia Dortmund in January 2018, just hours after watching their talismanic golden god float off to play the piano outside Old Trafford. Had Sanchez instead signed a new deal at Arsenal, that club would be the ones paying through their nose for an overpriced waste of kidneys. They would be the ones forced to drop a skin-coated sack of cash out in Italy. Aubameyang would have never signed, leaving the fans to sweat on the fitness of Danny Welbeck up front. Aston Villa, Tottenham. As much as I hate to admit it, Jack Grealish is an Aston Villa star. Surely he might not understand the rules of staying inside the house, but he's still the Villa captain. And let's be honest, the main reason they're not stuck halfway down the championship could have been so very different though. Apparently back in 2016, Spurs were on the cusp of a signature for just £6 million, only for the greed of Daniel Levy to try and haggle him down to £4 million. Well done, Levy. He now costs 12 times that amount. Bournemouth, Preston. Right, Eddie Howe's this club's salvation, the literal messiah. And look how close this journey was to never happening. This entire journey from League 2 to the promised land all depended on a dodgy tackle in 2002. After 8 years, the 25-year-old Howe, who probably looked about 12 years of age, had outgrown Bournemouth, signing for Harry Reynolds Portsmouth £400,000 a week back in 2002. He was ready to spread his wings, move on to bigger and better things, with promotion hunts to the Premier League. Never again to look back at his hometown club. But no, the Pompey dream pretty much died on his debut, getting his knee turned into sloppy wet fudge against Preston North End. He never fully recovered, only played once more for Portsmouth, and was forced to eventually return to Bournemouth in 2004. So, whoever it was that injured Howe, Bournemouth fans owe him a free pint for life. Brighton, Bournemouth. Fairly simple here, yes. I know Brighton were embarrassed 5-0 on their own patch by this club last season, but still, you owe your Premier League status to Bournemouth. Long story short, Glenn Murray is one of the few reasons that your club are in the top flight. Had Eddie Howe not chosen to let him rot on the bench during his sole season at Bournemouth, and actually given him a few games up front, he'd never have been dumped back into the Championship, and Brighton would have never profited from his 23-goal debut season that they got promoted. Burnley, Watford. For Burnley, very simple. The only reason your club is now comfortably top tier is because of Sean Dyche. And so if the Watford owners hadn't been so laughably trigger happy, sacking him after one 11th place season of the Championship back in 2012, despite that being the club's best finish for 4 years, then he would have never been free to waddle off to little old Burnley. And where would they be then? Chelsea, West Ham. Ask your average Chelsea fan about West Ham, and they would probably sneer from the comfort of the high-priced mansion, suggest that they should actually be thankful towards them, and they'd probably choke on their own monocle. But it's true. Listen, Frank Lampard is doing a good job at Chelsea, steadying a ship rocked by a transfer ban. Putting it simple, right? Chelsea are a club who don't know how to deal with their bank card being snapped in two. So Lampard, the club's record goal scorer, was the perfect man to step into the frame. So Chelsea fans, be thankful to the ungrateful West Ham fanbase who drove him out of the club in 2001. The same fans who cheered his broken leg purely because he was related to the goddamn manager. Lampard was a boyhood West Ham fan, wanting to follow in the footsteps of his dad. Were it not for those fans, he'd probably stayed up to Park for life. Crystal Palace, Everton. Yeah, this concerned Wilfried Zaha, the most talented player at Sellers Park for decades. Listen, yes, I realise Everton tried to steal this guy away last summer, but lads, were it not for that club, there would have been no Sellers Park return for the lad in 2013. Because let me explain. Who drove Zaha out of Old Trafford? What sterile, stubborn coach thought chucking Adnan Januzaj onto the left wing was a better shout than Fergie's last signing? And listen, Everton were the Moyes that gave David Moyes his big break, appointing him in 2002, and let's be honest, had they sacked him, for example during a relegation battle in his second season, this guy's career would have been stained forever, and he would have never ended up at Old Trafford, and Wilfried Zaha would still be in Manchester. I mean, if Jesse Lingard can last over 20 bastard years on their goddamn books, Zaha would probably have a contract for life. Everton, Chelsea. Let's be honest, lads, Carlo Ancelotti is 60 years of age, slumped in the unemployment office after getting turfed out of Napoli in November. Do you really think he'd have been bothered to sign up for a new job in a country where he doesn't speak the language? Spending Christmas trying to understand the Gothic language of Scouse to a native Italian, it'd be like trying to decipher a dog's bark. But no, because of his successful couple of years at Stamford Bridge, it wasn't going to be a huge transition, and not such a daunting task for such an old man. He'd already done this 10 years earlier, so yeah, that's why he accepted the Everton job. So Everton fans, go and thank Chelsea fans for acclimatising Ancelotti to English football back in 2009. Leicester, Porto. When Leicester fans think of the words FC Porto, they probably duck for cover. Instantly reminded of humiliating 5-0 away days in the Champions League, being forced to watch the likes of the hideously out of their depth Ben Hamer, Jeffrey Schlupp and Leonardo Ulloa thrash around like drowning penguins. But no, Leicester, you're going to be playing Champions League football next season because of them. Right. Bear with me. Brendan Rodgers is changing the fortunes of Leicester Football Club, breathing life back into a team that was stagnating under Club Puel. But the very fact that Rodgers is a heavily paid top-class coach in the Premier League, it's almost a fluke. It's very rare that former plumbers from Northern Ireland, after a virtual non-existent playing career, managed to carve out a career in England's top flight as a manager. Rodgers owes everything to Jose Mourinho, who offered this Ballymena nobody a coaching job with Chelsea in 2004. This was the equivalent of the owner of HITC Sport offering a YouTube channel to this utter buffoon. And had Mourinho himself not been given a platform by FC Porto, Rodgers would have never ended up part of a Premier League winning backroom staff and would now probably just be a 47-year-old PE teacher out the back arse of County Antrim. Liverpool Southampton. Well, that's pretty simple, lads. No mental gymnastics required here. You know those Champions League medals, the incoming Premier League crown. Liverpool should almost donate 40% of that to Southampton Football Club. Yeah, they've tossed them Danny Ings as sort of a thank you gift. Well lads, were it not for Southampton giving these players their first break in English football, then you'd be taking Virgil van Dijk, Thayan Lovren, Sadio Mane, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Adam Lallana right out of Liverpool's goddamn team. Then where would they be? Man City, Fulham. You see all this success, all these world-class players, and titles galore. Man City, they owe all of this to Fulham. The reason the Sheikh Mansour takeover was brokered was because of his business relationship with Thaksin Shinawatra, the former owner of Man City. Had Shinawatra not been at the club, Mansour would have just turned his attention elsewhere. Man City should thank Fulham owner Mohamed Al Fayed for not signing the club with Shinawatra in 2003. Man United, Barcelona. So what's the reason behind Man United's upturn of fortunes this season? Bruno Fernandes, pretty much hitting the ground running following his big money move from Sporting Lisbon. He alone looks capable of revitalising that stale club. He said himself, the reason he chose to swap Portugal for Old Trafford instead of Tottenham is because of Cristiano Ronaldo, his idol's time at the club. Ronaldo created a generation of Portuguese Man United fans. And as we all know, United only stumbled on him back in 2003 after Barcelona pipped them to the signing of Ronaldinho. So had Man United signed the World Cup winner, Cristiano would have ended up at Arsenal, and most likely, so would Bruno Fernandes. Newcastle, Monaco. What do Newcastle fans have to be thankful for right now? The appointment of Steve Bruce, an owner who won't leave? The only ray of positivity at the club right now is Alan Saint-Maximin out on the left wing. The only guy in that squad who wouldn't burst a blood vessel taking someone on. The only bit of skill in that team, so maybe Newcastle fans should thank Monaco for rejecting him back in 2016, tossing him out to Nice like a wet piece of fish. Norwich, Celtic. Again, same thing. The only reason Norwich are in the Premier League right now is because of Tino Pukki's goals. So yeah, you should thank Celtic for tossing him out to Brom in 2014, because had he spent his peak years failing in the Scottish Premier League, right now his confidence would be stuffed down a toilet, along with Norwich's promotion hopes. Sheffield United, Ajax. Right, weird one, but go back to the start of 2011. The clock was ticking down towards Edwin van der Sar's retirement at Old Trafford, and the favourite for the number 1 shirt was Martin Stecklenburg. Had Ajax sold this guy to the club, do you really think he'd still be Manchester United number 1? Considering he's 37 and now a third choice goalie at Everton, not a hope in hell. I'm guessing if it had been Stecklenburg and not David De Gea signing in the summer 2011, then by now Dean Henderson would have definitely been fast-tracked into the Manchester United first team. Southampton, Atletico Madrid. Now, Southampton fans will probably spit on Atletico Madrid for not selling them Toby Alderweireld. Well lads, you owe Danny Ings, a man with nearly 30 goals in 2 seasons, you owe his presence in your starting lineup to this club. And here's why. Right, in the summer 2013, Luis Suarez was on strike, intent on forcing through a move from Liverpool to Arsenal for some weird reason. Liverpool spent that summer trying to scramble around for a replacement, seeing £21 million rejected by Atletico Madrid for Diego Costa. Had Atletico accepted, then Suarez would have been allowed to leave for Arsenal, with Costa now Anfield's leading man. Because of this, Divock Origi wouldn't have had to be dragged in from Lille the next summer, and wouldn't have been there 5 years later to block Danny Ings from getting back into the Liverpool first team. So yeah, because Atletico didn't sell Diego Costa to the Reds, yes Southampton, that's why you have Danny Ings banging them in on top. Tottenham, Hull City. This was the game which made Harry Kane's career. A League Cup tie in October 2013. Kane was on the periphery at White Hart Lane, having failed out on loan. I'm convinced this club were about to cut the cord, but now he manages to come on, score an equaliser against Hull before smashing home a spot kick in the winning penalty shootout, before eventually be given a chance on the Premier League. So Spurs, I hope you sent Paul McShane a bouquet of flowers, because his inability to defend a Harry Kane header back in 2013, he's just saved your club 200 million quid. Actually, you know what? Go on his Instagram page now and tell him how thankful you are for the existence of Harry Kane. It's really going to confuse him. Watford, West Brom. Alright, Watford look like they're about to stay up this year, largely to the genius of Nigel Pearson. He was literally their last roll of the dice. And were not for this game back in April 2015, his management career would have been stuffed in a bin 5 years ago. Had Jamie Vardy not smashed home a 94th minute winner, turning around a 2-0 deficit to give Leicester all 3 points, there would have been no great escape for the Foxes. Pearson would have ended his career with a relegation. That one achievement was literally the only reason he was given the Watford job. West Ham, Stoke City. If you're a West Ham fan, you know someone who supports Stoke, then you better start kissing him on his face. Sure, most Stoke fans look like human pit bulls who sweat through their mouth, but still, I don't care. You owe your survival status to this club. Without Lucas Fabianski, West Ham are relegation fodder. Had Swansea not been relegated by Stoke in late 2018, then Fabianski would have never left South Wales. I mean, look at those tears. Does that look like the face of a man who wants to leave? Wolves, Newcastle. Okay, pretty simple. Wolves owe everything to Jorge Mendes. We know this. Where would they be without him? But pretty simple. His first international deal that launched his career was when he brokered Hugo Viana's 8 million switch from Sporting Lisbon to Newcastle in 2002. This was the transfer which put Mendes on the map and made him what he is today. So we're not for Sir Bobby Robson wanting to sign this greasy-haired playmaker. Wolves? Christ, they'd still be chucking Andy Keogh up front. Anyway, that's the end of it, lads. Let me know, what do you think? Have I got this all wrong? Should you not be thanking any of these clubs? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.